Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we'll study the fourth topic with reference to introduction to stylistics, and in it we will discuss the significance of stylistics and the process of meaning making. This topic is a part of the course Stylistics. Dear students, I am your instructor Mubashir Hussain, Department of English, Cust. Discussion agenda: we will brainstorm ourselves, we will warm up ourselves for the introduction to that very subject. After that we will see what are the objectives of the whole warm up, objectives of the subject and the significance of the subject, and in introduction to stylistics we will see the significance of stylistics and the meaning making process. First of all, warm up. You all have had hairs, but there are different ways in which you comb your hair. Why? What does it signify? Can you think about it little and come up with your unspoken responses? Yes, we know that all of you have the same texture, but there are different ways of arranging them. The word way is very important here. Some part your hair in the very middle, some part from side to side, and some comb your hair backwards, some comb hair upwards. So there are different ways in which you do. In other words, there are different styles of arranging the same thing, different ways in which you arrange the same thing, that is same texture, or here in this example here. Now again, expanding that example, all of you come up dressed up in different design. You have the same texture, that is cloth. And how to design your cloth? What makes all the difference? So the point is that there are different patterns in which you arrange your clothes, in which you design your cloth, in which you arrange your hair, and so on. Now, before I say something more about this, I want you people to stop the video for a while and translate this simple sentence into Urdu. Come here. Come here. Please stop the video here. Stop the video here and translate this simple sentence into Urdu. Come here. Translate it and then switch on. Yes, stop it. So I'm sure that you might have translated it like Tum idhar aao. Some might have translated it like Aap idhar aaye or Aap idhar aao. Now this one simple sentence which invites a lot of different versions, a lot of different translations. Why? Because language offers us choice, word choice, and we arrange these words in different ways. The word ways is very important here. So by the word ways, what do we mean? We mean as a countable noun in Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary it is written that ways are a method, a style or manner of doing something, and it is also called a method that somebody used to do or achieve something. So it implies that we can shape our writing according to our objectives. What do we want to achieve from that very particular writing, keeping in view that objective, that purposes, that what we have to achieve from that very writing. So we will adopt the method or our style according to these objectives. And as example, the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English offers here. Here are several different ways. This is an example sentence. Here are several different ways we can tackle this problem. I mean, there is a problem and there are several ways, there are different ways that can be used to do one thing. A thing can be attempted through different ways, and that is what we mean with the ways. And according to Merriam-Webster, ways are manner or method of doing or happening. It can be manner of doing something or method of doing something. And as example, they offer that sentence. As example, they offer that sentence. Someone admired her way of thinking. So it means one can think differently. The word thinking here in this particular sentence is telling us about what she has produced. She has written it on the paper. So the output of her thinking is written on the paper in the form of writing, and her way of thinking mean her way of thinking is admired because it may be different. So the meaning of the word ways is now clear to us, and writers, authors do adopt different ways of writing, different styles of writing, different techniques of writing, different methods of writing to achieve a particular objective and to create a particular meaning, to impart a particular agenda. So the word ways implies that very thing. So arrange your words in different ways to communicate the same thing, to generate meaning, to convey meanings. You make different choices of words. The point is that language offers you a lot of choices, word choices, and you pick up some words and you drop others for a reason, for a purpose. There is always a purpose behind this. For instance, if you try to be more formal, you choose one sort of word. If you try to be informal, you choose another sort of word. If you want to sound more technical, you choose another sort of words. If you try to be general and more normal life like, you choose another sort of words. It is the way that make different styles. So the point is that because of our choices and because of the different arrangements and different patterns, we develop our own different unique styles. And this is what we see in literature as well. Different writers make different choices of words to develop their own specific style, as stylistics is a study of style. Clear? So let's move on to the second slide. Objective discussion. By the end of this class, you should be able to orally define stylistics as a scientific branch of study. By the end of the class, you should be able to attempt a quiz to distinguish between its various major branches. What is the significance of this class? The significance is that once you are introduced to the basic stylistic concepts, you can, as a student of literature, decide to use it as a critical tool for analysis of any unseen literary text. Number 2, you can also decide to choose stylistics for your research work in future. So that was warm up. I just wanted to bring you close to the idea of what stylistics is. and what it deals with, and we work to certain example. Now let's define stylistics. This is the presentation stage, instruction stage, and warm-up stage has gone. So stylistics is the study of ways in which meaning is created through language in literature as well as in other types of texts. So stylistics is the study. If you remember, I emphasized during the warm-up session the word ways. So you see, we find it here. Stylistics is the study of ways in which meaning is generated or created through language and literature or as well as other type of texts. We know that there are different types of texts, okay? For instance, literary texts and non-literary texts. Later on we will discuss them one by one. So stylistics is the study of how we create meaning in all these different types of texts, but you should know that primarily it is the literary texts that have drawn the attention of the stylisticians. Stylisticians use linguistics models, theories, and frameworks as their analytical tools in order to describe and explain how and why a text works the way it does. Now this is important, these words have to be explained. Stylisticians use what linguistic model for analysis? For analysis of text. Why? Because we know that stylistics is actually a branch of linguistics. And we know that while doing research on text, the stylistician prefer linguistic models. Let me first define model. Model is actually a combination of factors and relations. For instance, if I say higher motivation leads to higher results, lower motivation leads to lower grades. So if I identify certain factors, what are these factors? Number one, motivation level. What is the other factor? That is, and what is the relationship between two? Higher the motivation, the higher the results. Lower the motivation, the lower the results. So you see, I establish a relationship between various factors. And what do we mean by model? Model normally linguistics use in research in all fields, in all academic fields, use certain models when they do research. So what stylisticians do is that they use linguistic models, model prescribed in linguistics. So another model is about language. What is language? If you theorize language, what is language, then for instance, one model of language is, you say that on one hand, language has phonology, that is spoken version, and it has a written system. On the other hand, you have words and grammar, and the result of this is meaning. So this is a tripartite model of language. This is how theorize language. This is how you explain language. This is how you propound a model of language. That is, you give factors and relationship. Like for you, what is language according to this model? This model says that language is a combination of the spoken and written version, and it comprises of words, that is vocabulary and grammar, and then the result is meaning, which we study in semantic. This one model of language. This is how we theorize language. Linguists use, stylisticians use linguistic models, linguistic theories and frameworks, and these three words are almost interchangeable. They are almost in the same. So linguists use these three things. In fact, these model, theories and framework, and they have analytical tools in order to describe how and why a text works the way it does. So I think that it's clear, because central and key word here was model, theory and framework, which I have explained to you, and it is these things that stylisticians use in order to explain how and why a text works the way it works. Now, the analysis focuses on all linguistic levels of a text and the cognitive aspects involved in the processing of these features by the reader. Let me explain this word. The analysis focuses on all linguistic levels. I have already mentioned some linguistic level like semantic level, the meaning level, that's the spoken level, that is phonological level, like that written level, that is graphologically level. So you see that language is arranged on various levels. We know that we have sounds which we study in phonetics, we have sound patterns which we study in phonology. When these sound patterns come together to make syllable and words and word shape in our morphology, and then we bring together these words into sentences, and this word sentence in order is actually syntax. So there is syntactic arrangement of words, and then as a result we have meaning, we have semantics. So what I mean to say that the analysis of a text focuses on all these linguistic levels, like stylistician can analyze its phonology of a text, graphology of a text, syntax of a text, morphology of a text, and the meanings, semantics. So the analysis focuses on all linguistic level of a text and the cognitive aspects involved in the processing of these features while the reader. This is important, cognitive aspect, because cognition plays an important role in the meaning construction. It is not only the producer of text, not only the writer who is responsible for making meaning. In fact, nowadays it is believed that the reader has more important role in construction of meaning. Why? Because there is cognition involved, thinking process involved. So every reader, depending on his experience or her experience, interprets a text in a specific way. That is, they have their own ways of constructing meaning or decoding the text. So the cognitive processes are also very important. Let me briefly touch upon this point. For instance, a poor person, his way will be different from that of a person. His worldview will be different than an educated person, and his worldview will be different from an uneducated person. So female and male, they have different worldviews. So there are different factors like gender, that is sex, and other factors like education, age, educational background. All these things actually are responsible in constructing our schemata, that is the background knowledge. So whenever we read text, our background knowledge has to interact with the text in order to decode the text and make meaning. So this is important to know that the cognitive processes are always important in construction of meaning. The reader is responsible for these mental processes are equally important in making meaning. Some stylistic approaches focus on the producer, some on the text itself, and some on the reader. I have already explained that some stylistic approaches, for instance, explore the different styles of different authors. So they focus on the producer of the text, other focus on the text itself, like they work through the text informed inferences, and some focus on the reader, how reader is actually making meaning out of a text. I have already touched upon this, that depending on our understanding point, our background, depending on our social factor like gender, education, economic class, education, age, we have different worldviews, and these, when we interact with the text having these background, they are responsible for meaning making. Now, new development in stylists emphasize as much as text informed. There are many cognitive approaches. Approaches focus on the producer, some on text as well as some on the reader. New development in stylistic emphasizes as much text informed inferences as mental processes that follows text comprehension.